This is going to sound really weird, but all of this came out of the Thule Society too. A lot of it, THUL.
Yeah,
Society, and ours is THUE, the U.
Okay.
Or THE, yeah. I don't know how you spell Thule Society, but I looked at it and I'm like,
that's
THULE.
all kinds of German idealism too. As the Thule.
Well, yeah. Let's just all hop in and go into that. What is that? The occult organization inside of the Nazis, which was called the Vril Society, I think it was called.
The Vril, yeah. Okay.
Something. I always see, whenever you sort of like click too far down the rabbit hole, and you're like suddenly the Vril Society and the Nazis on the moon, and you're like, oh shit, okay, went too far. Welcome to the Electric View, Episode 1, Part 3. We're continuing with Buddy and the Universal Ones, exploring his philosophy and our own interconnectedness, recognizing this condition that is living on this spinning, breathing ball.
well,
There is an argument there though that goes into from Julian Jaynes, obviously, that something happened, which of course extends into the electric universe idea that skies were different, things were different, and there was some events that had occurred that caused us to become who we are, where we started questioning this thing, which is our subjective consciousness and how to get back to, understanding the people the way we used to. And Plato was talking about this particular issue. This issue also extends even further when you realize the word nature that you were talking about, Buddy, nature is my teacher, is, of course, very closely related to the study of nature, which, of course, is natural philosophy. And then if you take that term and realize that neter is the Greek of that, and then, of course, that is the word for the priests of ancient Egypt were like Hem, Tep, Neter. So, like the high priest of nature. And they were talking about the exact same thing, trying to understand the world. They're scientists, or the best that they could be. And, but the question is, we falling into the same trap that mathematicians are sort of falling into, where they believe in their equations to such a point that they've reified them and made them into something that's not really in reality, but you can make up an idea of 11-dimensional physics, and there's 11-dimensional universe, because that's what math says if you think about it logically. But in actuality, we exist in a 3-dimensional world as best we know. So there's the same question here. Is this idea that is something that might have been a tool for remembering or understanding the universe and astrology and so forth, and the number system that goes along with it, Duodecimal system, or whatever it's called, Duodecimal system. Is that also a possibility that we could be reifying it? But there's also the possibility that there is a vibration, there is a known resonance of the ionosphere, known resonance of the cavity between the Earth and that plate. There is a known resonance and different harmonics that are involved in this, and then we have. There's also pressure waves and these the electron pumping actions that allow trees to grow and so forth. This is all, it's not something that should be discarded, but it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to carefully gauge whether or not we're being accurate anymore. And
there's interesting naturally occurring ones. There's ours, which is kind of 10, and then the 5 with per hand, and then 5 is all over the place. But 8, the octave is pretty clear with that part of the way that they broke it down. But then 12 is there too. But those are, to me, are the real strong ones.
Well, what's interesting is why they call it duodecimal. Guess what that means?
Mm-hmm.
That means dyadic. that means dyadics. That means polarity inside of a system. That's what 12 means. That's what if it's duodecimal. And what happens inside of a wavelength is harmonics condense inside of reality, inside of vacuums, inside of matter in the dyadics. It's what waves are composed of. They wouldn't be able to balance unless there was a polarity of dyadic to it, which is the duodecimal. That's amazing.
Very cool.
I'm excited to tell Jake that.
Nice.
My Star Trek mind goes to Duotronics.
Duotronic. What's that?
It's just all the electricity or electrics on board one of the starships. They're all based off Duotronics, and there was a whole episode in the original series about it. Don't worry, it's all hilarious. But I'm just reminding you said duodecimal. I was wait a second.
Yeah.
Where did I hear this before?
I had a guy that would use deuce as meaning two as a swear. It's like, what the deuce is going on? And it's like, why are you saying two? It's a duality of our existence.
No, it just means crap, doesn't it?
Deuce. Well, you can. Yes, I mean, but perhaps for the same reason.
Isn't that Stewie Griffin? That doesn't. What the deuce?
Stewie. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, just saying, what the shit?
Deuce. Yeah. What the deuce? Because it's a pretty strong sound too.
Take it from Robert. He knows that they can use different words for not swearing.
Right.
He comes from that land.
I was a sailor.
No. But that's what I mean. You come from that land and that land. Like if it's like the weirdest thing. It's like, you just dropped the F-bomb and you go, I mean frick. I'm sorry.
No, but I know what that means. They say that out here in Utah, like it's
That's just what I mean. Like how not to swear.
Like
people
Battlestar Galactica with I's instead of A's.
Oh, I love that show.
So, if I could continue with some of my train of thought.
I don't know. My train of thought went that way. You go with yours.
Yeah,
sorry.
I gotta go.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Good talking to you. Thanks for,
Thank you.
I'll talk to you guys later.
We'll see you soon.
All right. So to continue with my thought for a minute here, I was correlating rapid change with.
I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I have to leave too. Bye bye, guys.
Yeah. Good stuff. Did you see they just posted your video? I don't know if you saw that.
Yeah, congratulations.
Yeah. I'm really thrilled.
That's great. That's great.
Oh,
yeah.
You had a video up? Oh, I got to see this.
They just put the speech from the they just put it up. So
oh, okay.
It's already got 1,000 views. So.
Yeah.
I can't even get 100. I suck.
Yeah,
I'm just kidding.
Some Thunderbolts there, Neil. That'll help.
Well, no.
He's got to take that fuck.
This could have been kid friendly until Neil came in.
Oh, hey! We only swore at the end. That was him. He dropped the F-bomb first.
I'm just playing, guys. I'm totally playing.
But admittedly, we didn't do. Well, I don't think there was too much of it. It was natural. I mean, it was a big hole that we thought we were going to die. So
Yeah, it was EU reality TV.
that's what it was right there. EU reality TV.
Right.
Thank you very much, Edwin. I'm going to watch your show. This is great. I'm glad that you got that up.
I'll put this in the chat. Yeah.
And thank you again for asking those questions.
Okay.
See you later.
Sure thing.
All right.
I like him keeping it real there. He was like, I got to ask you more questions.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on there, my buddy. Sorry.
Real quick, the reason why I asked those questions to you is because I have this idea of rapid change creating or inducing environments or being a catalyst for intelligence, or because my whole philosophy is adapting to change. The more you adapt to change, the more you are prepared for and to embrace and encounter. And an environment like yours, where not only all of these new creatures come in every single day to the Bay of Fundy, there's farmers out there that go out and get these clams that get paid like $500 a day or more per an hour. because they risk their lives to go on these cliffs to get these little, like, these mussels, because they're highly sought after. And there's all sorts of new life forms in these fields. If the Sheldrake is correct with his morphogenetic resonance idea, then all of these fields come into your area every day, and they just propagate and fill it up, and then they go away every day, and you're just like, they're gone. So I guess environments that change rapidly like that, there's a lot of creatures that are extremophiles that can only certain types of things can live there, So, anywho,
it's so odd because I always think of myself as from a very, just chill place, like just kind of relaxed, and there's a lot of good feelings in the, you wake up, the rising sun, the weather brings in the, a breeze, and the tides can affect that. Everything that, like just up until a few years ago, like, I mean, I helped hay and, helped fish and help, so it's kind of odd to think of it as, because it was really very tranquil for a long period. And the only thing that existed were in the cities. You come from places that had no power. We are one generation from powerless people. My parents didn't have power till they were married. Like that's, so when they say, yeah, like within their lifetime, they got to give me a computer and Legos to play with so that I would be smart and, like want to do stuff. Like here's an encyclopedia set, and then computers come along, and now I'm living in my own dream world where I get to go play with my computer friends across the world and either build worlds or destroy dragons, and of course now a step beyond is that we're getting to VR with our friend David here, who's now like could play in those worlds, and I'm like, okay, now that I'm here and now that I've achieved my goals in life,
be built. Yeah.
What's really going on in the universe? So this is kind of where my life has had for the last 10 years. Because once you've succeeded, it's like, man, I need to play D&D with my friends on a computer. Okay, that's what I need to do. I need to have no game master. I don't have to be a game master anymore. I don't have to be a human computer. There's an actual computer doing that now. Okay, great. I've done that. All right, now I want to fly spaceships with all my friends around the world and ride giant mecha and destroy other things. Okay, we've done that. Now I want to build everything I could ever build. I want to create. Okay, here's your Sim City, here's your Sim this, here's your Minecraft. Okay, now that you're done with that, now I'm like, all right, I no longer want to be virtual. I want to find out how the real world works. And now that's where I'm at. So,
right.
If you wonder why I think of I'd
make it better.
Well, because there's so much more that I keep hearing. Like, just hearing Jim talk and just, where he said, okay, this is what our solar system is doing. Going through this part of the world and, or part of the galaxy, and where is our galaxy going, and where we're now in, if you think about it at full speed, we're like a vibration in a field. To think that it's not affected by other vibrations around it is a little silly, don't you think? We should be. I mean, it's not to say that we should ascribe too much to it yet until we can find mechanisms to manipulate it, but that's the same argument that we have with gravity. People are like, well, we know that gravity rules the universe. Okay, what's gravity then? And that's the end right there. Because what the hell are you talking about?
Or mass.
What is mass? Yeah. What is the property of mass?
Just fundamentals. It's like, what are those two? And it's like, and it stumps them. You can stump a PhD with it.
Well, you mentioned, for example, you have to measure the weight of uranium when you're doing a nuclear reaction, and you can weigh how many grams of material were converted into power using that material. So this is a nuclear chemistry thing, and I'm sure we're all familiar with it, but no, we're not. Yeah, but anyway, but there is a clearly. But so you measure that, and you can tell how much power was generated. You can basically say, if I had this many watts that came out of that, it equates to this much mass. If there is a connection, that's the E equals mc squared right there. So if you're having that, And, of course, not even questioning Rupert Sheldrake's idea that you can change what the speed of light is in the equation. But what does this mean? What is really happening? What did you really do to these atoms? Mm-hmm. What did you really remove? You said you knocked away neutrons. What did you really do? And this is, this whole... I'm not very comfortable with a quantum weirdness bullshit thing. I'm not really comfortable with that. I want to know. There's no, well, there's an 80% chance. Well, screw your percentages. With I can calculate with precision, enough precision to time an electric motor or a gasoline motor or a steam engine. So you're trying to tell me that your equations are probabilities? If I got to probabilities, I wouldn't have a motor.
This is why it's this imperative, like a fetish towards quantization. That's why they call it quantum. The whole label for
should be quantum philosophy.
They want to count. They want to count like accountants, everything, and it's like that's all there is because we have a number that we can associate with it. And it's like you're missing like the other half, which is like why would it be formed that way?
Or as Buddy would say, there's a web of interconnectivity between it, and what is this web? Right. And then, how does this web move? You look at the intention of these designs and how they interact with each other, and this is an entire. This is totally off the chain hook. No, I'm sorry.
Yeah. But that's what happens. This is the missing. You just focused on counting, and it's like that's only one small aspect of this whole thing, and this is why the beauty of bringing like an artist's mind into this conversation.
Well, I think in some cases you need it. Like I said, if you didn't have, the inspiration for current science is the science fiction that they grew up with. If you, for example, the exact same conversation that we're having right now was had by probably Frank Herbert or whatever when he wrote Dune and the whole idea of sonic weapons and, what does that mean? What the word is power? What the hell are you talking about? Right. This is all written in science fiction. So there's that pathway.
You've seen that fight with Sting and that's I love that.
I will kill him. Yeah, no, I remember that.
That's great.
For he is the Kwisatz Haderach, and his name shall bring death eternal. The Theta Keen.
The scene is so classic. I gotta bring it up.
It's all bring in that flying fat man, the Baron.
Flying around is great. Yeah.
Sorry. Anyway, I there's nothing else to do here, by the way, except for watch movies. So